podcast, Freshwater Fibers podcast. I'm Charlotte. I live in northern Lower Michigan on Lake Charlevoix with my husband, 3 dogs, and 3 teenagers. Let's see, I recorded yesterday and I have a feeling that I spoke so quickly and I forgot a few things and I was fidgeting with papers and things in front of me, so I thought I should try it again. Hopefully this podcast won't take as long as the first one to get to you. I think the first episode took, after of course the 5 tries it took to record the podcast, then it was stuck on my phone. I'm recording on my phone and I'm using the Splice editing app by GoPro. I like their music. It was a little different. And I couldn't get it off my phone to save my life. It was stuck there. Finally, after about, 9-10 days, I was able to save it to my photos, but I was never able to get it off my phone onto my desktop computer. I have a PC. And so eventually I was able to, even though in Splice you're supposed to be able to, so I had to edit the whole thing on my phone, which is why I gave up editing, and there's very little editing on my first episode because, as you can imagine, it is kind of a pain to edit a 45-minute video on your phone. So I eventually was able to save it to my photos on my phone, and then from YouTube go into my photos and upload. So that's how it eventually made it. And since posting the video, I have figured out how to add show notes. And just today, I found the link for the vintage crochet stole that I showed, the white one that was my very first crochet project. So I will be adding those things on. And honestly, I have no idea what I'm doing with videos. I have 3 teenagers in the house. You would think 2 of them have been in the video club at our school. You would think somebody would be able to help me, but I think it's more of I'm not helping Mom with her YouTube project. So I'm on my own, and here you go. This is what you get. But podcasting, I have to say, is way more fun than I thought it was going to be. I was really uncomfortable with the idea of sitting here talking to my camera by myself. However, once you get me going on knitting and crocheting and sewing, I can apparently just talk and talk and talk. So, and I do have to thank Levi from the WTF podcast for not only giving me some tips on how to edit my video and verify my YouTube account and all of that stuff, about giving me the very kind shout out on your latest podcast. Levi was the final push to give this a try. So I will pay his advice forward and say, if you're thinking about it, if you're not much of a talker in public and around people that you don't know, you'll be amazed how much you can talk in a room all by yourself about things that you are passionate about. So what the heck, give it a try. I have 6 subscribers now, I think, one of which is mine and another is my daughter. So if that's all I get, that's all I get. I'm having a ball, and this is fun to talk about my projects, and I don't have a local knitting group. A lot of you don't. Levi's mentioned he doesn't have a group of knitting friends local. Another good podcast, A Wooden Nest. I've forgotten her first name, but she's a brand new podcaster also, and amazing. And she also talked how she's pretty much an introvert, doesn't have a local group to knit with. So here you go. We're all podcasting. So what are you waiting for? Make a podcast. It's fun. Let's see. I can be found in a number of different areas. I did just create an Instagram for Freshwater Fibers. So you can find, I'll post whatever I'm doing for the podcast, I suppose, on Freshwater Fibers on Instagram. I also, full disclosure, I do have 2 fiber businesses. The first one, I am the Fat Wool Company. And in my first podcast, that was one of my blankets on the, I think it was on that side. That I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and I will have all of this in the show notes, of course. I have a store, a website, all of that. And last weekend, I was down with my good friend Geraldine at the Birmingham Winter Market in Birmingham, Michigan. So I do make it to different shows around Michigan. And then the second business that I have is with my friend Geraldine. We are Roberta Rae Fibers, and we are indie dyers, brand new, getting into that in the last year. So we will be talking more about that later on. So I do have a couple of businesses that I'll talk about now and then. But this is mostly to join in with all of you on the fun and show off projects and, I don't know, have a little fun, make some new friends. So here we go. You may have noticed my speckle and pop shawl is done. I have some more unfinished objects. I think in the first podcast I had run out of the orange yarn that I was using for the bind off. So I was waiting in the mail for Geraldine to send me that. This is all our yarn, Roberta Rae Fibers yarn, and we're on Etsy. However, just wanted to show this. I don't know that I'm going to do another knit along in real time because, and I don't know if it was just, but I'm still doing a Hohi's starting point, and I don't know if that was over 4 weeks or 5 weeks or how long that initial knit along was, but I'm still working on that. I felt like I actually hurt my hands knitting so many hours a day trying to keep up on this, and I was so far behind. I think I finished in 8 weeks, something like that, not even counting waiting for the shipping. So a little ginger jasmine tea for the afternoon. I certainly will participate in projects, so it's not that I'm never not going to knit another knit along project. I just don't think I'm going to do it in real time. I don't know how some of you do it that were able to keep up. I mean, this, and I can show you, the knit along is done. Everybody's got their projects online, so I'm not giving anything away. This whole chevron, horizontal chevron piece here was clue number 1. You were supposed to be able to get this done in 1 week. It was not happening, sister and brother. Absolutely not. It's beautiful. I love it. I get loads of compliments. Oh no! What is that? Why is there a hole there? I have no idea why there's a hole in my shawl. I'm going to have to fix that. I have just enough orange yarn fixed. I'm going to have to tie a couple little knots or something. I have no idea what happened there. No idea. That just appeared today. I mean, I've been showing this off. I've been wearing it. Wow. Huh. Okay, well, I'm going to set this aside then and not put it back on. That's a new one. But I showed this last time, how I ran out of yarn. I ran out of color 1 and color 3 when you were supposed to get into the chevron points down here. So I used color 2 for color 1. And then I started using up all of my minis for color 3. And then, of course, ran out of those. And I knew I didn't want to alternate colors on the edge anyway, as the pattern suggested. I knew I wanted a solid color. My original intent was to use the fuchsia mini, but that didn't happen, and I thought it was the best mixture of colors there, or order of colors to do it that way. So, but it turned out nice. I like how it turned out. I have very little yarn left. I have this tonal orange left, maybe a ball about this big, and I have my second orange mini. I have maybe that much left. Everything else was used up. Well, I think I have some color too left, but I gave that to my mom so she can add it into a project. But wow, a hole. Did not notice that. So overall, very happy with it. I had never done brioche before, and that was on my list for 2017 for things I wanted to learn. So I didn't even follow Mr. West's suggestion that if you've never brioached before that you better practice. I just went for it and did it, which is interesting. If we're going to go swimming in the lake, I'm not one of those that just jumps in. I put the toe in, and then if the feeling comes back in my toes, then I might put my heel in, and then once that warms back up, I might put my ankle in. But with sewing and crafting, you know, why not? Go for it. Just do it. If you're going to do it, do it. Let's see. Oh, I thought I would show off, and I will check for holes, but I have not seen a hole on this one. I had previously completed the Find Your Fade, and the sucker's really long. You're not going to be able to see the whole thing. Oh, and I didn't look up this yarn. I couldn't remember what one of these yarns was yesterday. And then it ends in the charcoal. I really like this. The very first yarn I started with when I was choosing my colors was the yellow, which surprised me because I'm not a yellow person. I've never worn yellow in my life. It's not a color I normally gravitate to, but in the skein, Hedgehog Fibers, Fool's Gold, yeah, I had to use it. That was the very first yarn I chose, and that's the one that everything else was chosen from. So the yellow is Hedgehog Fibers. These two are very early Roberta Rae. This was last Christmas when we were practicing and trying this out and trying to figure out how people dye yarn and just doing our own thing, and you know, just getting started. How you learn a new skill, you knew something, you just start trying. So these two first colors are Roberta Rae Fibers in the good old days a year ago. Hedgehog Fibers, Fool's Gold. This next one, love it, Hula Hut Yarns. I don't know if it was a dyed to order. I think I purchased it off, I don't know if I saw it on Instagram. I don't know where I saw it, but I saw it and I bought one skein, had to have it. Ran out. Did I use that? I wouldn't have run out in one. I must have used it in something else. I can't remember. So I ran out, and she, no, I have two. I have two. I don't know what I'm talking about. So Clark, all three teenagers are home. As you can hear, Clark is barking at something, so we're going to be barked at. I'll be shocked if somebody doesn't come in and ask for something or want to know where something is. So here we go. Hula Hut Yarns is this one. Go on her website. She's on Etsy. Fabulous. Fabulous color. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. This next one, Roberta Rae Fibers. That great pink. This is the one, I can't remember who it is. I will look it up for the show notes. I've got the scraps somewhere. I'm not going to dig for them now. And oh, and by the way, I am in my craft room today because everybody's home. So, yeah, hopefully if the boiler comes on, hopefully that won't be too loud. But if you hear a fan running, that's what that is. So yeah, that one's really pretty. And then the charcoal is also Hedgehog Fibers. graphite, something like that, starts with a G, which I really like. So overall, it's lovely. I love it. I was glad that I made it. I love the colors. I love that I used the yellow, the fool's gold. I haven't touched yellow since, but it was the yarn. I just had to use that one. So, all right, this one does not have a hole. I can't believe my Speckle and Pop has a hole. That never happens to me. I don't know, I have no idea. I don't think the yarn broke, but the only way I think I can fix it is to get the crochet hook in there, hook up the loops and tie some tiny little knots with orange. If you've got a better suggestion, let me know, because I'm certainly not taking the whole thing apart. The bind off alone took me at least 10 hours. At least 10 hours. So I must be slow. I have no idea. So let me know if yours took as long. Let's see. Okay. See, yesterday I feel like I just breezed through all the knitting and it was mostly sewing, but I'm going to slow down, talk a little slower, not be, well, I was in a hurry yesterday. The kids were going to be home and I wanted it done before well, no, they were home anyway. Okay. Okay. Interrupted by a phone call. See, first interruption. Yesterday, I recorded solid, not one single interruption, but I didn't like, I don't know, I think this will be better. So let's fix this. Okay. What did I want to show you next? Lost my train of thought. Okay, I still have the Hohi starting point that I showed you last time. Oh yes, this project here. So I believe in the first podcast I ran out of the orange yarn for the Speckle and Pop. So, and my hands hurt. My hands are still a little winky, but they're getting better from knitting all the time. And so I thought, well, I'm not going to do another fingering weight project right now. I want to work with something a little bulkier so it goes a little quicker and that kind of thing. And so I was going through my stash, found this 1700 yard ball of mohair, and I have this older issue of Debbie Bliss magazine that I absolutely love this cover. Love this cover, which is mainly why I bought it. But I was looking through and just, searching for something to make while I wait for the orange yarn. And I saw this, which is mohair held double. So it doesn't count as lace weight, does it, if you hold it double? So that's what this is. And according to the pattern and according to the tag on the yarn, I had plenty of yarn to complete this project. I was all excited. It moves along very quickly because you do it in pieces. And so I really felt like I was accomplishing things and moving along. So you do the back piece first. So I got the lovely back piece done, all excited. I think I got it done less than a week. Got the front piece done less than a week, so it's a week and a half, and I've got the front and the back of the sweater done already. I do the first sleeve. Yay! I've only got one sleeve to go, and I wanted to wear it for Christmas, and I'm all excited, and I'm envisioning my outfit for Christmas Eve dinner. We have family over, and we do the fancy Christmas Eve dinner. And so I start the second sleeve. So all I have left is the second sleeve and the neckband, and I'm done, besides sewing it together. And I'm out of yarn. How can I be out of yarn? Come done? Can I not get anything done? So, yeah, this is all I have. And I got this a while ago. It's Mohair in Motion. I have sent them an email either yesterday or the day before. I haven't heard back from them yet. I don't know, maybe they're on vacation. I don't know. You know, I could always do like a band over the shoulder. One sleeve. I don't know. I'm so disappointed. I just wanted to get it done. I'm almost done. And I'm out of yarn. So it says factory dyed on the tag. I don't know if that means it's a standard color that they carry all the time. I don't know. I'm hoping that's it. If not, I'll take the first sleeve apart and I'll have to pick, you know, a nice coordinating color, like a darker purple maybe, and do stripes on the sleeve. I don't know. So disappointed. So disappointed. So that isn't done. It's sitting here waiting for more yarn. But at least the speckle and pop is done and I can repair the hole that somehow showed up. So I can't finish the fuchsia sweater, the mohair sweater. So I decided to make a hat for my husband and my son for Christmas. Now my son's upstairs right here. So even if he's listening, he's not going to care. So I got for my husband, oh, I thought I brought down the tag so I could tell you what color this is. Yes, here it is. Sorry. Malabrigo Rios, which I have never used before, but which is fabulous. Superwash Merino. I'm assuming you can see this. Really nice. Watery turquoise. His eyes are blue-green, so I think with this it'll just make his eyes pop. So let's see, this is Aguas. Color 855. Oh, and this is Malabrigo Arroyo. Superwash Merino Wool. Made in Peru. So I cast on with some, it's 5mm needles. I didn't have the short circular, so I had a long circular, and so I cast it on, and that's as far as I got, because the needle, the circular needle was of course way too long for a circular project, and so I had to order. My closest yarn store is 45 minutes away to the north, and I didn't pick up the needles when I was there just the other day buying this. So I found a needle maker from Michigan. I think it's called Indian Lakes. Is it Indian Lakes Art? Indian Lakes. I'll put the link in the show notes. And so I ordered some DPNs, 5mm DPNs. Another project, just waiting to be done. So, but that's his color. When I get the needles, I will show you. This color is for my son. This is also Malabrigos. This one is Rios. And the color is, I laughed when I read this yesterday during my first go-round at the recording, because the name is Glitter. Luckily, I do not see any like Stellina. It isn't glittery like Stellina or anything sparkly. Thank goodness, because it would not be worn by my 17-year-old son. But that, I thought, would be very nice on him. So, but I think those will go pretty quick. Oh, what's the pattern I'm making? It's the Hunter by, let me get it. It's right over here. Hopefully you can't see the piles of fabric. Yes, The Hunter by Tin Can Knits. I don't need that page. They have, I suppose I'm not supposed to show you the direction side. They have, the pattern comes with infant sizes all the way up to adult. And I'm not going to make the pom-pom for them, just the cap. So hopefully I have that centered for you so you can see it. But, so, when my needles arrive, I will show them to you, and I'm looking forward to them. And like my fat wool company business, everything comes from the state of Michigan. The fiber I buy from Michigan family farmers, and the yarn is custom made at a fiber mill right here in East Jordan, Stonehenge Fiber Mill. Some of you might be familiar with their yarn. So yeah, it's 10 minutes from my house, Stonehenge. And fabulous fiber mill, and they custom make all my yarn for me. And with Roberta Rae, we also have a Roberta Rae Michigan line of yarn where we purchase the fleece from farmers, and Stonehenge is making that for us. So I'm excited about this needle company, Michigan Hardwoods. So go Michigan, the state of Michigan, and trying to support local arts, no matter where you live. Support your local arts. Go and find out who's making things in your area, and who can you support, who's growing things, who's raising heirloom animals that you can support. So it's a wonderful thing. Okay, so then I cast on a new project. It's worsted weight though. It's worsted weight, and everybody has seen this by now. And I need a new project bag. I'm out of project bags with all of these in-waiting projects. But you've seen this, the Veronica by Very Shannon. I thought it was So Very Shannon. It just says Very Shannon. This one. You've seen this. It's everywhere. Tracy from the Grocery Girls made one. I'm sure many people have made one. But I like the looks of it. So we're going to give this one a try. The needles that I started the hat on are the exact needles I need for this project. So yay, I have what I need. I've always wanted to try, and is it Chiagu? I don't know. With the red lace cables. I have wanted to try, these are fixed, not interchangeable. 5mm. I have wanted to try these for a very long time, so I got these, and I have cast on. I'm very excited. So this project is well on its way. The yarn is Roberta Rae Fibers. I wanted a project, because we're just starting. Our yarn business, the yarn dyeing business, we're just getting underway. We're just now getting the hang of things. We're just now finding our voice, if you will, with the colors and the yarns. And so, of course, we want to use our yarns and wear them so we can show them off. And if people are interested, for instance, a lady stopped me yesterday or 2 days ago when I was wearing the Speckle and Pop shawl. So, you know, like, support, if you like what your local makers are doing, go ahead and support them. And there's indie dyers, and there's a bunch of fabulous ones out there, and we're just throwing our hat in the ring. So this is a navy that I made specifically for the project. Nice deep navy, a little bit of black thrown in. And I'm holding it double with Shibui silk mohair. This colorway is Suit. I can show it like this too. Yep, you should be able to see that. Silk Cloud in Suit, Shibui. And I was, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my god, inspired by the ladies from Espace Tricot. And I can't, with the lady with the short blonde hair, I can't remember if she's Lisa or Melissa. I can't remember off the top of my head. But nearly everything she makes, she holds double with the kid silk. And I had never done that before. And, you know, every time she wore one of her sweaters, it was like stunningly gorgeous. So I had to try it with this one. So yeah, here we are so far. There's a little bit of a halo. That is from the kid silk and the mohair. Hopefully you can see that. I can see it from here. And it's worsted weight, so I'll give my hands a break. And this particular yarn for Roberta Rae is part of our Roberta Rae Michigan series. And the yarn is a blend of Corriedale, Merino, and Lincoln fleece in this, and spun for us at Stonehenge. It smells like wool. It's very nice. So, oh, here it is. So here's an example of some of our colors. I really wanted to do this podcast with my friend Geraldine. She lives 4 hours away, unfortunately. But we die when we get together, and pretty soon we'll each have our own half of studio. So when inspiration strikes, we don't have to wait for us to get together to dye. We can get out there and dye and keep things in the store. For instance, here are a couple of other blues that we have. Kind of a Wedgwoody blue, really not too bright, not too strong, just a nice little darker Wedgwood blue. And then here's another blue. This one is called Secrets. This is in the store right now. Nice purpley blue. Yeah, so we have those. Okay, so I will be moving along. I don't know. Maybe the Veronica will be my Christmas sweater. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I should say it'll be my spring break sweater. And then I won't run out of yarn and I won't have problems. Okay, so future knitting. I purchased this yarn. This is, I showed this in the very first podcast. This bag is Awesome Granny Makes. Awesome Granny. Very cute. She's gardening. In the summertime, I'll show off my garden. You got a glimpse of it in the opening. You can see the brick pathways and the wood fence. Yeah, so this one's Bags by Awesome Granny and Isabel Kramer. Wow. Pretty much every single, I've never made a sweater, like a sweater. This is my first sweater. I just love her sweaters. I love how they fit. They're not too baggy. I'm more of a tailored person. I like things to fit. I don't like drafts. I'm cold all winter long. I've always got stuff around my neck. I've got shirts tucked in under. I've always got a t-shirt or a long sleeve shirt tucked in underneath whatever I'm wearing on the other 3 layers I'm wearing on top. I hate drafts up my back or up my stomach. I like my neck warm. So I just like how her sweaters look. I like the stripes. Oh my gosh. So I'm trying to decide which one of her sweaters to make. And so I bought this yarn. I've already got it caked up. So which one is this? Oh, where are all my tags? Well, for goodness sakes. This is the main body of the sweater. Oh, Mrs. Crosby. The brand is Mrs. Crosby Spun. Is that can't be the only tag I have left. I'm probably going to have to look it up. Wow. Really? That's the only tag I have was for one color? Alrighty then. Well, at least the brand is Mrs. Crosby. This, I wanted the main body, the color of the sweater to be. Then I wanted to add stripes in, oh, here's a tag for the gray. I just can't tell you what the purple is apparently. Graystone. This is Graystone. 80% superwash merino wool, 20% silk. And it is a single, I believe it's a worsted weight. It's a worsted single. So let me get this one back in here so I don't lose it. So main body of the sweater, a stripe, some stripes somewhere, and then she has a sweater, or it was either Isabel Creamer's sweater or a project that someone else posted for the sweater. But they had a yellow chunky stripe just on one arm right above the elbow, and there might have been one yellow stripe across the chest. That's what I wanted to do with this. So main body, stripes. Purple, yes. Oh my goodness. But I just have to decide which one to do. And I was kind of thinking I would have to do one of her, just pick the sweater and then add in my own stripes, which of course then I thought, oh, the math to get the stripes where you want them to be and when to start them and how many to make and when to stop them. And so I don't know. I'm kind of, but that's future knitting. An Isabel Creamer sweater. I'll get the starting point shawl done after the holidays. Let's see. What other knitting? I don't know. I've got some magazines. I ordered the Wool Week magazine from Shetland Wool Week. Last year's and this year's. I mean, there's at least 5 things in each one of those books that I would like to make. So, oh, here comes my son. I don't know. We'll see. So, okay. Okay, I think we're going to move on to sewing now. So, that's it for yarny stuff. If you're not interested in sewing... Oh, yes. Yes. Are you leaving?
What?
Are you going?
What?
Are you going?
Going where?
What do you want? I'm podcasting.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna work tonight at 4:30.
Okay.
And she said she's gonna bring you back right now.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Sorry.
Bye.
Interrupted. Bye.
Done? Okay, I think we're done. So, that's it for knitting, and I'm getting warm because the mechanical room is right there and it has a lot of heat in there, and when you shut the doors it gets really warm in here. So we'll decorate the mannequin. Okay, so we're going to move on to sewing. So if you have no interest in sewing, thank you very much for joining me on my second endeavor in podcast land. And I hope you subscribe. It'd be nice to have more than just myself and my daughter as subscribers. I do have 2 or 3 other people. Thank you. Thank you very much. So anyway, it doesn't matter. I have fun anyway. But like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Otherwise, thanks for giving me a shot. So sewing. In the first podcast, I showed you my extremely long arms and how regular button-down shirts just really don't fit me that well. And I was making a shirt. This one's done. More barking. Oh, somebody's walking by, so... yeah, it might we're going to get some barking. Anyway, so this is my finished shirt. I had mentioned the Craftsy class and with Pam Howard, the classic tailored shirt, which I really enjoy. Gave you some tips and things that aren't included on the sewing pattern. I added 2 inches. Look at this. Nice long sleeve. Look, I can reach. And it's still buttoned. And I can reach. Yay! Except this pattern is really weird. I think I told you the very first one I made was a size 12, which I normally wear a 10, 12, depending, so I can get the arms long enough. 12s are too baggy in the body, but I made a 12. Well, I couldn't even get that thing on. It was so tight. It was too short across the shoulders. I couldn't even get it on. Well, my mom is more petite than I am, so I gave it to her. She loves it. She wears it often, and it fits her perfectly. So I ended up making the size 16 in this burdick pattern. So here it is. It's a little short in the body, so the next time I'm gonna make the pattern. Here's my fabric. Robert Kaufman yarn dyed linen is this fabric. So I'm going to make another shirt. The sleeves are wonderful. I am going to leave them this length. Some people might not like them down their hand like this, but when you live your life with shirts that are constantly up here, this is fabulous. I'm excited. I think I'm going to go down to the 14, and I'm going to lengthen the body probably an inch. Just, it's, you know, and I don't have hips. I go in junior high. I wore boys jeans just like straight up and down, no waist. So, and of course this flares out, but anyway, I'll take that in. I'm going to lengthen it. I'll probably do a 14 because there's a lot of bagginess here, and I think I have room on the shoulders. There's what, a half an inch difference between a 14 and a 16, but I think that will take that in. So I will get there. So another shirt, custom shirt, but I'm very happy. I love it. Finally, a finished project that I started and was able to finish in a timely manner. More sewing. So another problem area. I showed you this book. I love it. Love, love, love. I am planning on making for Christmas as a very special gift this shorter jacket. Pivli, if I'm saying it properly, Coach. She's Swedish, so Scandinavian. Might be saying it differently. Americans usually pronounce things incorrectly. And I have this fabric that I ordered that I was so excited. This canvas, I believe it's a Rifle Paper Company canvas, beautiful metallic on there. So the back piece, the sleeve, moving right along. I'm thinking I'll have this done in an hour. There's no lining. You put the pieces together, you do the hem, boom, you're done. No. The sleeve seam for the front piece was a good 2 inches longer than the front piece. Wait, no, this is the sleeve. The sleeve seam, one of them was 2 inches longer than the other. You can't ease in 2 inches over this. I double checked the pattern. I put my pattern pieces back on the original pattern to make sure I had done everything correctly. For the life of me, I cannot figure out why this is 2 inches bigger. I'm just completely at a loss. I don't know. I can't figure it out. I'm not an expert sewer, but I'm certainly not novice or beginner. I made my high school prom dress ages ago, so I've been sewing for a long time and can usually figure things out. I can usually figure out a way to fudge things and ease things in. Not this time. So this has been sitting on my cutting table for 2.5 weeks now, 3 weeks. Ugh. And I've already ordered the very special fabric for the very special Christmas gift, which I can't tell you anything about I doubt this person has any idea about this podcast, but just in case, I don't want to spoil it. So I have to figure this out. I emailed the author, haven't heard a thing. I found a blog of a person who has made this jacket with apparently no problem whatsoever, and she's been trying to help me. I think I have it figured out. I retraced the pattern. The front piece pattern overlaps two separate sheets of pattern page. So I took the edge of the pattern and folded that out of the way and matched the pattern lines up exactly. Well, it's too short, it doesn't work. So then I thought, well, why would you even include the edge of the paper in the pattern? But I laid those flat and just bumped the paper edges right up against each other, and I've got my 2 inches back. So I'm gonna try it, but I need to figure this out because I already have this other fabric for the gift. So again, another project that should have been get it done, move on, and I'm sitting here 3 weeks later trying to figure it out. It just gets frustrating. Yeah. Oh boy. But there are there's pretty much every piece in that book I would like to make. So I need to figure this out and get a move on because I have a lot of sewing to do. And let's see. So I showed you my shirt. You've already seen my personal project bags. I'm not selling them or anything. They're just for me. But you saw those last time. I thought I'd show you some quilting before I leave for the day, for this podcast. I already showed you my very, very first quilt with the cross stitch, and that's what got me started. So, is there a date on this? December 1997, American Patchwork and Quilting. 1997. This magazine is older than my kids. This is the quilt I made, and I taught a class. So I taught just the quilt block. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not it. Let me find the right one. That's not it. But I know this is the magazine. Ah, here it is. This is the class I taught. So it's a Christmas stars. It said Lone Star Beauty. So there are 9 of those stars with some appliqued small red stars in the corners where they meet. The big stars meet. So I taught just the Lone Star. We made 1 block for the class. And then we also worked on some hand quilting. I was a hand quilter. Everything I machine pieced and hand quilted. And I started this before we had kids. And just the piecing alone, I estimate sewing well over 90 hours just sewing the quilt top together. And I have no idea how many hours total are in here. However, so I started this before kids. Then child number 2 came along, and forget it. If you know anything about kids, you are not sitting down to hand quilt with 2 kids under the age of 2 at all. Even when they sleep, A, you are either sleeping because you're exhausted, or B, you're trying to get things done that you can't do when they're awake. You're not hand quilting. Then we had child number 3, and when I stopped working on this, I was a good 60% done. 60% done with the hand quilting. And then I didn't touch it for 12 years. This sat here for 12 years. I did not hand quilt. I did do other quilts. I did not crib size, toddler size, like a throw size, like 5 feet by 6 feet, or not large, not even bed size. Everything was machine done, or I did the tied, where you do the yarn ties in the corners every 5 or 6 inches or so. I did a bunch of those. So I was still sewing and things, but the hand quilting was not happening. 3 kids. When the third one was born, our oldest was 4. Everybody was in a diaper of some sort, a pull-up diaper, and of course diaper for the newborn. So then after 12 years, of course, this is on my mind. It's, you know, your unfinished projects are here. They're always in the back of your mind. And I almost threw it on my sewing machine and I said, you know, I just want to get it done. I just want to get it done. So I'll just machine quilt the rest of it. And no, you don't hand quilt something 60% through and then decide to machine quilt it. What was the point of all the hand quilting? So I got it back out when I could finally sit down for a couple hours at a time and finished it. It's very large. It might be queen size. I'm not sure. But let's see. I'll try to. So yeah, there are 9 of these. On the quilt. All of this is quilted, hand quilted. Every one of the triangles is quilted. All 4 sides. There are spider webs in the corners. The edge is quilted. There are feathers in the white space. By the way, I can't see you. I've got my phone backwards, so hopefully you can see everything. But, so this is my crowning quilting achievement. I probably will never hand quilt again because all of my time now is knitting. I'm a knitting fanatic. I knit every single day. I used to quilt every day. I used to hand quilt every single day for 3 hours. For 15 years ago. But no, I don't. I still make quilts. I've got one hanging on the wall. I've made quilts as gifts. I did a hand applique quilt as a gift for my mom. But I'm not going to hand quilt. I don't think so. Too busy knitting. I love knitting and dyeing yarn. So many things, so many beautiful ways to express yourself on this earth, and do it. Find what you love to make. It doesn't matter if nobody else sees it. It doesn't matter if you don't give it to anybody. Just do it. Make beautiful things. And with that, I think that's it. I will have all of the different contact information on the show notes. I might show off a little bit of our Christmas decorations. You saw some of the snow in the beginning. It's finally snowing up here in northern Michigan. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you. Bye.